Today I want to talk about regrets around my marriage. I've got a lot and I wanted to just jump on here and vent about it, I guess. It's really sort of glaring today because I'm back at the house and, in the old situation, and these things pop up, the things like this. So I wanted to talk about that today and sort of tell you where I am honestly about all this. So let's get into it. So a little bit of a different location today. We're in the other house. I've been spending the day with my parents and the kids and Laura, and it's bittersweet. So I wanted to, hop on here and sort of just get some of my thoughts out about some of the regrets I have. Do you guys have any tips for married people that follow me and for me about what not to do in a marriage? What things do you think are important? Put it in the comments down below because I do read them. Maybe there's stuff here that you can learn to not do to avoid what happened to me. So if you're subscribed, thank you so much. It's the most important thing in my life right now is these videos on my music. So it's a huge thing for me that you're supporting me. If you aren't subscribed but you're seeing this, click the subscribe button if you like what I'm doing, because it helps my message get out to more people. And I think what I'm doing, people are telling me is helping and important even. So I don't know, but I'm just going on what I'm hearing. I've got a Patreon that has free music and videos every week. And I've got a music-only channel, Stephen Hilton Calm. So yeah, now that's out of the way. I mean, whenever I have a day here or I come here, it always makes me reflect on everything that happened. Just regrets I have about the marriage, or regrets, I should say, regrets about what I did in the marriage that made it dissolve, into separation. And it's pretty clear to me the stuff that I should have done differently. And it's pretty clear to me the way that it all went down and my part in that. So I think it's useful to me to just say it out loud and have a record of it even, So I think one of my biggest regrets was not communicating enough, not being a couple enough. When we have kids, I think, well, certainly I fell into everything being about the kids and the business, and we didn't do any date nights, not a single one, and I think that was a real bad thing that we did. It's not good or bad really, it is what it is, but that definitely contributed to the downfall of the marriage. And people would say, make sure you do date nights, it's important. And I was like, I never took it seriously, but I really think that it's huge. We did actually do a date night after we separated and it was amazing, but it was too late. Too little, too late. Just, one late on in the process. And I regret talking about work too much because that made our relationship be more like, business partners than being married. And I regret sort of thinking when we had 2 kids, this is huge. This was a huge thing, I think, in terms of what happened. For some reason, I thought when we have 2 kids, we should take one each. I don't know where I got that from, and I don't know why I thought that, but I was like, we should, you take care of Poppy and I'll take care of Alfie today, and we would do separate things. And that was super bad for the relationship because we didn't end up doing anything as a family. And my parents told me that at the time, and Laura told me, and I just didn't listen. Which brings me up to one of my other biggest regrets, which is just not listening to anyone, not listening to advice. If there's one thing what happened to me subsequently taught me, sort of my recovery from the depression, how I recovered was by taking advice, asking for help and taking advice. And I've had a great sponsor for years, and I could have asked him for marriage tips. Another regret that I did, which I think is a big one for men, is I refused to go to therapy. I refused. I just thought, we don't need that. I don't need that. And I've heard a lot of guys, since this has all happened, I've heard a lot of guys saying they won't go to therapy or they don't want to do therapy. And I thought, it's the man is going to be the one who's blamed for everything. Because I'd had that experience in the past with a therapist, and I think that I just thought that's how it goes. And I just refused. I flatly refused to do it because I didn't want to be called out on my bullshit. So, if you're in a marriage and your wife suggests you go to therapy, I suggest you do it. Otherwise, you'll end up like this, separated. I guess, not looking at this on the face of it, small things was a huge thing. I think little, we didn't do the date nights. I didn't sort of get flowers, or not that she's really that kind of person, but just little gestures like that. I kind of stopped doing those things. And that was all those things that I assumed were little things. I was always good at presents, always a good present giver for like birthdays and anniversaries and stuff. I was the only one that remembered our anniversary most of the time. But these little things are really important, I realise now, because over time they chip away. Not taking care of stuff like that just chips away and chips away and chips away at the relationship. But that's what happened to me. So it's really not listening, not going to therapy, not taking care of the small stuff, the small little random acts of kindness. And I was always kind, but I wasn't kind sometimes. I should have paused when agitated. That's what they teach you in AA. Before I responded to things that upset me, I could have been more loving in my words. And it's all such a learning curve. I mean, I've just got to learn from this stuff. And whatever happens next, don't make those mistakes. For me, I'm talking. So, I'm glad you guys are here. I obviously can't talk to anyone about that today, but I can come in here and jump on here and vent to you guys. And hopefully that's helpful. Don't make the mistakes I made, kind of thing. I got regrets, but it is what it is at this point. There's nothing I can do. There's things I can do, but there's nothing I can do about this because it's out of my control. So, that's where I am. Let's come back tomorrow and talk about something else. I love you guys.